By the way, donations. Put a tip jar up.
Actually,
You should put a tip jar with a PayPal email address.
dude, believe me, dude, this is a work in progress, and I am every week adding to the
Absolutely.
production.
These beers don't pay for themselves.
Yeah.
That's right. Speaking of beers paying for themselves, here's one I paid for. Craft Beer Buds, where the palate always prevails because we don't know what we're drinking until we drank it, except for this one because this is my pick for Wednesday, so I know what it is. And welcome back, Mike.
I don't know what it is. I'm looking forward to drinking it.
That's right. Mike doesn't know. Randy doesn't know.
I have no
Mike
clue.
knows nothing. And I think that's been clearly established.
And that's not just about beer.
Has
That's
a
just
clue.
in general.
No clue and clueless.
Yeah.
So, shall we
Wait,
dive
am I
in?
clueless or has a clue?
Negative.
I'm not sure what that means. I'm
Clueless.
kind of clueless.
Gone below clueless to need to find clues. Oh, that's an interesting color.
That is interesting.
Now, you must really like this one
Now-
because you filled that almost to the
was just-
brim there. It's
I've never had this beer.
Really?
Never had this beer. And there's an interesting story to go with this beer, which will unveil itself at the proper time.
See,
I
I
gotta
don't
drink
think
from the
we've
bottle
had a
then?
single lager in this series just because we've been
Oof,
focused
no.
on craft beer.
Well, it's hard to get lagers.
gotta-
Not a lager.
This is the one that
Definitely
looks
not a
closest
lager.
to lager, I think, but it's
But you
Well,
can smell it. I can
most
smell
smell like
immediately.
lager.
And
The
the
vast-
pour itself looked no
that's
no
a
lager.
spicy. Yeah, that's a
The
spicy tomato.
vast,
That's a spicy tomato.
the vast majority of what people are brewing here in town are ales because you can turn them around a lot faster than a lager.
So what are you trying to say?
That you
The
can
vast
make an
majority of
ale
people make
faster than you
ales.
can make a lager.
I think he said it.
And actually, for those who don't know, which is probably 2 of the 6 people that are watching, lagers are cold fermented. They're fermented at lower temperatures, so it takes longer. Ales ferment at a higher temperature and they ferment quicker, so it's easier to turn more of these out than it is to crank out lagers. There are some people doing lagers. Epic comes to mind down in North Park. And I'm sure there's some other people putting in lager programs, but I know they're big on it right now.
I was gonna say, if
feel it.
anybody watching wants to recommend some, I would love to try a good craft lager or a good craft pilsner would be good.
Ooh, Pilsner,
I'd
yeah.
like to try
You
one of
know,
those. So if anybody's
Latitude-
watching, put in the comments on this video, and maybe you'll see it on a future episode.
Yes,
So
we
go
would
ahead.
we're always open to recommendations.
There you go. Yeah.
How about grog?
Oh yeah, grog mead. I would love some.
Yeah, I would
there's
like to try
a
that.
couple mead
Yeah, I would
places.
like to
We
try
haven't
that.
tried any of that. So.
And you know what? There's even some
meat up there on
sake
Oceanside.
places in Miramar.
Ooh,
Setting
some
Sun Sake.
Sake on craft beer, bud. I'd love to see that.
That'd be
great.
like...
There'd be a show on
big cra-
location, maybe?
Sure.
Oh, we already got that one
we're
brewing.
thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Churchill's maybe first, because I know the guys over there.
So for this one specifically, this is definitely, I would say, an IPA. This is classic. Unless I'm wrong.
This is what I think,
Disclaimer.
unless I'm wrong.
And then I think
Classic
differently.
IPA flavor. It's like bitter. It's strong. It's a straight either an IPA or a double IPA or a variation on that. What do you think?
I'm saying IPA. I see what you're saying. Wow. Although some of the IPAs I've had maybe have a little bit more bite, this has a little bit less bite to me than
Right.
some of the heaviers.
That's
The heavier hitters.
So yeah, it could be less strong than IPA. But go ahead.
This
But
one's
it's an
interesting
IPA.
because the smell is kind of like, okay, it smells okay. And the taste is like, it kicks you in the face, honestly. It doesn't look like it or smell like it, but the taste is just...
Deceiving color.
This is too strong for me.
We've had a couple of fruity beers, literally, today so far.
Yeah,
We had raspberry early in the week. We had
Yeah.
raspberry brown.
I
then we
could
had
see
a
that
mango
being the
half.
case.
This is not. This is a beer.
Yes,
This
this
is more of a manly bear.
Right. This is.
You got to drop a couple octaves for that one.
when you wanna-
Pull out the Adam's apple.
Yep.
I agree, though. I mean, it's an IPA. It's definitely kicked up a notch, comparatively speaking, to the other fruitier beers. But actually, it's really a nice beer, though. I mean, it's not too heavy for me.
This is black coffee compared to the creamy stuff that we've had earlier.
Ah,
There's a little little
it actually
juxtaposition
kinda,
for
it
you.
almost tastes a little coffee-ish to it.
Yeah,
too,
and
you know, it's
beer in general, like the acidic kind of tends towards the
Yeah.
coffee, and that's
Well,
why it's an acquired taste, just like coffee.
I
so.
think this is probably a bit of a palate shock because of the two fruity beers that
Yeah.
came before it. But I'll let you guys go since this is my beer.
But it's
Continue to say
good
whatever
as
you
an
want.
example of a beer like that. It's good. It doesn't necessarily jump. You know, I'm not jumping out of my chair for it. It's well brewed. It's well made, and it is clean. It definitely seems strong, but it's an easy drink. There's no bad aftertaste or anything. So it's a good. It's an all right beer, but it doesn't. There's nothing to it to make me be like, oh, this is something I've never had before. Or I haven't tried. It just seems like a sort of a down the middle. I'm saying IPA. Could be wrong about that, but it's sort of a down the middle example of that.
Own
type
it,
of thing.
own it. You don't
All
have
right.
to qualify it. Own it.
What do you think of it? Do you like it? You've had it before or no?
I've never had it.
You've never had it.
had
What do you
this.
think of it?
I will say, first of all, it's more the piney, resiny. It's not citrus, so it's not quite dank, but it is like piney and resin in that vein. Smells good. I like the smell, and I think your description of just kind of a down the middle, whatever style it may turn out to be. That's a good description as far as from my palate. It's good, not lifting me off the chair, but then also not unpleasant. It's got the whole kind of piney, resiny with some bitterness on the back end that you would expect from this style of beer that you
Right.
find here in town.
Right. Yep. Yeah, I'm not super impressed with it. For ABV, I'm gonna go kind of high. I would say it's a 7.2. I'm gonna guess.
Wait,
That's
let
a
me-
guess.
let me
Maybe
write her
now
down
I'm
here.
low usually. so
what's your rating?
my rating? I'm gonna give it straight up 1.5. It's right down the middle. It's not a bad beer.
And I'm sorry, what was your ABV?
I said 7.2, I think.
Okay.
And I'm going to say 1.5 for a score. It's not a bad beer, but I'm not a huge fan of IPAs personally, and there's nothing in this that makes me taste like makes it taste like an interesting IPA or a different IPA. It's just or whatever it happens to be. If I'm wrong about that, but like it just sort of seems like a
Jesus.
standard example of this.
I
type of
think
beer.
what he's trying to say is he's worried about being wrong.
I could be
His
wrong.
wrong issues.
It's
Yes.
rare that happens.
They're
but I could be
surfacing
wrong.
in this,
It's okay.
this episode.
You're not being judged.
Go ahead.
What was your-
The
what was your
beer's,
ABV?
that's right. Mike, the beer is being judged. You are not. The
All right,
beer is.
fair enough. In that case, it's an IPA.
What was the ABV
Own it.
you gave it?
I said 7.2.
Okay. I just
I-
gotta make sure I go one. At
I was
least
gonna
it's
say, I historically
Here we
have
go.
Been, have been low, so this could be higher than that. What do you think of it?
You know, I agree with the IPA stuff. It's middle of the road, but you know what? This is a good. I'm sitting at a bar, watching a football game, or watching a basketball game, or watching the tournament, and this is the kind of beer you'd want. Just a plain beer. It's not no citrus. It's not too heavy from an IPA perspective. I'm gonna go 8.1 on this. I'm gonna go 8.1 on
8.1,
this.
wow.
It reminds me of something else, and that's why I'm kind of leaning towards this. I do believe IPA. I do taste a barrel. I taste the barrel, but it's not overpowering. So
What's your rating?
So
for-
yeah, what is your?
if I said rating wise, I'm going to go 1.75.
Jeez, that's.
I'm going to go a little under 2 because, like I said, it's not bad. It's not something I may go out and buy, but if you put it in front of me out of a tap, I would probably really enjoy it. 2 or 3 of these beers over a nice.
You're not going to kick it out of bed.
I'm not going to kick it out of bed.
But he's not gonna invite it in either.
Well, I mean, you know, beggars can't be choosers.
Right.
So.
I can get messy. I can get messy with the IPA beers in bed.
This is true.
We talked about situational. We talked about situational drinking. I've said this thing before. When I drink an IPA, I rarely just drink an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I need to have an IPA and like some wings on the side or something. Like I
There
feel
you
like
go.
I need
Sport, yeah.
something to go along.
You know,
with
that's
Wings.
a good point because just drinking this by itself, I'm like,
It doesn't- it's
But
not
I could
something
see
I
with
can just-
eating it with
yeah.
something would be actually change my opinion on
I
it.
can appreciate it by itself, but for me, an IPA is almost like a beer that you drink with something that's got a little flavor, a little spicy to it, as opposed to just drinking an IPA. A stout with coffee or with chocolate in it, I can just drink that. People joke Guinness is a meal.
That is a
That
meal.
works for me too. So it's
an
cool. But
aperitif.
for something like this, it's almost it feels like I'm. This is going to sound like an insult. It feels like I'm drinking mayonnaise.
Wow.
Because it needs something to go with it. Is what I'm trying to say. All right.
As in ham and cheese on
There's
that.
all
would have to
kinds
go
of
with that.
weird
Is this the- but
mental
it's not-
imagery that just came
But it's not
from
cigarette butt filtered, right?
No.
Okay.
And I'm not even saying it tastes like mayonnaise. I'm just saying it needs something to go along with it as opposed to.
Actually, you kind of did say it tastes like mayonnaise.
All right.
No,
I
he
could be
didn't
wrong.
We have it's the side version.
All right, let's
of
get off the
with the
mayonnaise.
rest of the
I'll
meal.
moving right along.
I'll be really quick, like I usually am, ladies. Sorry. We're gonna give it a 1 1/4. Not my style of beer.
Who's we?
We being the people that really care, which
The royal we over there.
Oh,
Does it come shoulder here?
Yeah.
So
So
great
what
kazoo.
was it?
1 1/4, but I'm gonna go with an ABV of 8.4.
That's a strong beer.
I could feel it. The warmth.
You can feel the
It
body.
might even be higher. Than
Body
that.
buzz.
Yeah. I'm definitely feel the warmth coming down.
Okay.
Do we get a rating from you? Go ahead.
I'm going to rate it. I'm also going to give it a 1.5 because I think, like you said, right down the middle. It is right down the middle. I did not check the ABV. I'm going to guess it around 6.5 just to throw a number out there. Because I didn't look at it
Pass
on
it
the
over to
bottle.
Jay. Let him do his reveal.
Yeah. And
we're
actually, you'll be interested to see what this is after the reveal.
It tastes
Because there's a
familiar.
story behind this beer.
tastes
It
familiar.
reminds me of something.
There's
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
left.
Nah, I'm good.
Show us what it is.
Anything
Then I'll
below
see if I want to drink
1.5,
it.
I'm not drinking it.
So, I picked this beer because we had a bad experience from this brewery.
Who's we in this situation?
Us. We had a bad experience
is this a
from the
Pop Top
brewery.
beer?
Oh, we didn't like this brewery as a table.
I couldn't find the mosh pit. This acoustic ales
Acoustic Ales Willow Wolves IPA.
IPA.
Yeah.
I thought I was
Salute.
not
At
wrong.
least I'm
And you are not wrong.
So I am consistent with this brewery of I don't like their stuff.
Well, but just if you didn't see the other episode, first of all, shame on you. Go back and watch it.
Disc.
But we had the mosh pit. Ooh, almost knock it over. We had this, and nobody liked it. And it might have been because when I popped the top, it really didn't. We didn't know if it was
flat.
Could be a little
oxidized,
bit
if
old,
there's
yeah,
a
the bottle
problem.
itself, yeah, it could have been.
Yeah, it just we had a bad experience. I wanted to get this again, but I couldn't find it. So I figured, okay, I saw this and it was cold, and it was bottled recently. So I was like, all right, let's give them another try and see what it's like. And if this is any kind of a redemption, it's not bad, but it's not.
It's not repugnant.
Yeah.
Well, the other one was.
But
the
other one was
the
repugnant.
other one was
Mosh
not
pit.
good.
Well, I mean,
I would say
we all drank it and went like, oh.
there are definitely much better IPAs out there.
Oh yeah.
So I can't give them points for that necessarily. It's not a bad beer, and I like Acoustic as a brewery, but I wouldn't say that this is something that if you love IPAs, you need to try. So
Well, I mean, I was going in with a negative perspective. This rebounded it somewhat because I didn't have high hopes. But again, it's respectable.
Yeah.
That's why I gave it 1.5, right down the middle. It's respectable. And the ABV is 6%.
Oh,
wow.
So we all
That's light.
were way high.
Man, wait,
It-
see
it-
that
the funny
just
thing is
dropped.
that it-
I'd like to rebuke my my initial
that's
rating.
not how
I'm going to
this- that's
drop
not how
that
this
down.
works.
If it's going to be that kind of party, I'm not going to go through this for a 6% beer.
And the funny thing
I like
is,
the artwork, I'll say
tastes-
that.
It tastes
Artwork is nice.
very like it's got a lot of alcohol.
Yeah, it
Which is
right,
really
it does
weird.
have that IPA taste of like a little bittery. And
Yeah, it's very
that type of
bitter.
stuff. But yeah, it's a good beer, and I agree the artwork in Acoustic. I have a poster actually.
love
of
love
one
the
of
artwork.
I have a poster.
No mention of IBUs. It would be interesting if they had IBUs on here, but no.
Because it's really not one of the more pungent.
But good looking
IPAs.
bottle.
Like we mentioned Sculpin earlier, and I like Sculpin,
Yeah, but-
and I would choose Sculpin over this, unfortunately, for that.
Well, that's almost like saying, I would prefer. I don't know.
Here we go.
Waiting for it.
No,
Bated breath.
I'm trying to think of who is a timely and current hot chick.
Haley Kuko.
Who?
Oh,
Oh, okay, that's a
classic.
good one. Yeah. That's like saying, well, I prefer her over like Kim Kardashian, who I don't like. So.
Yeah.
But I
Kanye's
would
coming
prefer
after
her
you,
over
man.
That's
Kim
just
Kardashian.
nasty.
So there you go.
I would probably prefer
That's
Mike over
not
Kim
literally
Kardashian.
apples and oranges
Wow.
on that one.
All right.
But
Well, good enough.
that was a miss on my part. I did not come up
And now
with a
I'm
good.
and by the way, I'm very
metaphor,
concerned.
Sorry.
Right, I'm very concerned if he's preferring me over Kim Kardashian.
Oh, I can't. That's a whole nother story we're not getting into.
Please,
that's a
not.
different show. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
another different show.
Another different show.
But yeah, so there it is. Any other comments? And
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
thanks
have they
for-
redeemed themselves over the Hoppy Red Ale?
I would say probably not. But that doesn't mean that they're bad. I am interested. I don't think this is the best beer they make. So we could probably bring them back at least one more time.
Well,
We're
we
gonna
have.
keep trying their beers until we find one we like.
I mean, I don't.
They have a very nice label.
They have a great
Well,
label.
and
When I
look.
drink labels, I'll be concerned about that.
I think in the interest of fairness, it's good to keep revisiting breweries that we're not impressed with because I don't want, if nothing else, I don't want to be guilty of having one beer from somebody and saying, okay, this is no good, we're not drinking their beers anymore. That's not right.
No.
So we'll keep trying to find something we like here.
And hey, Tuesday Gales, if you want to try to impress us, we're here.
Yeah,
We're ready to go.
Send us some of the,
Send us a recommendation, send us your brewer, send us
a beer.
sponsor the show, and your beers will be awesome. But no, that's a lie. That's wrong.
Yeah,
No, that's
It's,
totally true because it'll be day 5 and we already had 4 or 5 beers. So at that point, our palate's a little bit off anyway.
Oh boy, it's amazing how just a few tasters have an effect on low levels of sleep because I'm having just a ball right now already, whether it looks like it or not. But anyway, all right, are we done here?
Great.
Salud.
Yeah.
We're done here. Craft beer buds, and if you're gonna punish your liver, make it count wherever possible. Drink it where they brewed it. I'm sure they'll appreciate it. I know I do. Cheers. Thanks for checking us out.
So punish your liver, make it count wherever possible. Kind of all random.
Is that like the Kyrie Irving quote in the Earthquake?
Leave it in the comments on YouTube.
Well, you need to be doing this. You need to be doing this live.